Once upon a time, in a small village nestled beside a vast, misty forest, there lived a witch named Elara. She resided in a quaint cottage deep within Willow Hollow, a hidden glade where the tallest willow trees swayed gently in the wind, their long branches forming a canopy over her home. Elara was no ordinary witch, she possessed ancient knowledge of magic, both light and dark, passed down through generations. Though the villagers feared her, Elara was a kind-hearted witch who used her powers for good. She could heal the sick, make crops grow during harsh winters, and even speak to animals. Despite her kindness, rumors swirled in the village about her being dangerous, for she had powers no one could understand. Children were warned never to venture into the forest, and adults avoided her cottage at all costs. One fateful autumn, a terrible drought struck the village. The crops withered, and the wells began to dry up. The villagers grew desperate, and soon whispers spread that Elara was behind the misfortune. The village elder, a man named Edgar, believed that the witch had cursed the land, and he riled up the villagers to confront her. Only Elara can lift this curse, Edgar declared. We must go to Willow Hollow and force her to undo what she has done. A fearful mob, armed with torches and pitchforks, set out to confront the witch. They marched through the forest, their fear fueling their anger, until they reached Elara's cottage. She greeted them at the door with a calm demeanor, though sadness flickered in her eyes. Why do you come to my home with such hostility? Elara asked. You have cursed our land, Edgar accused. You must lift this curse at once, or face the consequences. Elara shook her head. I have done no such thing. The drought is the work of nature, not magic. But if you will trust me, I can help restore balance to the land. The villagers were hesitant, but in their desperation, they agreed to let her try. Elara asked for 3 days to prepare a powerful spell that could summon rain and replenish the earth. During those 3 days, Elara worked tirelessly. She gathered rare herbs from the deepest parts of the forest, brewed potions with the essence of moonlight, and whispered incantations in the ancient language of the earth. All the while, the villagers watched from a distance, their skepticism slowly giving way to hope. On the third day, as dark clouds began to gather over the village, Elara stood at the edge of Willow Hollow. She raised her arms to the sky and spoke the final words of her spell. Thunder rumbled, and a torrential downpour began, soaking the parched earth and filling the wells with fresh water. The villagers rejoiced, dancing in the rain and praising the witch for her magic. But as the rain fell, Edgar, who had always distrusted Elara, noticed something strange. A small black raven perched on Elara's shoulder, watching the scene with sharp, intelligent eyes. Edgar's fear turned to suspicion once more. She consorts with dark creatures, he cried out, pointing to the raven. We should not trust her. Elara, hearing his accusation, gently stroked the raven's feathers and said, This is Nox, my loyal companion. He is not a dark creature, but a guardian of the forest. Together, we protect this land and all who live here. But Edgar's fear was too deep, and he roused the villagers against Elara once more. Despite her having saved them, they drove her back into the forest, vowing never to let her return to the village. Heartbroken, Elara retreated to her cottage in Willow Hollow, where she continued to care for the forest and the creatures within it. The villagers, though safe for the time being, soon realized the consequences of their actions. Without Elara's protection, their crops once again struggled, and the forest began to grow wild and untamed. Years passed, and the story of the kind witch of Willow Hollow became a legend. The villagers came to regret their fear and mistrust, but by then, it was too late. Elara had become one with the forest, her magic intertwined with the trees and rivers. She watched over the land from afar, ensuring that it remained in balance, but she never returned to the village. And so, the witch of Willow Hollow lived on, not in the hearts of the villagers, but in the whispering willows and the gentle rustling of the forest she loved.